Number 3 overall. Has not had a real sparkling career thus far. This is his 3rd season with the Orioles. Has done 8. This is his 9th start. 8 relief appearances. Straight fastball, not overpowering. Changeup, working on a splitter. Control pitcher, doesn't walk a lot of guys. We'll take a look at the Oriole defense. You're brought to you by Coors Light, and you got a lot of 5 Gold Glovers there. Center field, Adam Jones, Parra, all Gold Glovers. J.J. Hardy, Machado, Gold Glovers themselves. And behind the plate, yet another Gold Glover, and Matt Wieters, who just come off the DL, Garrett.
I'm not sure we've seen a team with 5 Gold Glovers in a long time.
I don't even ever recall my experience.
Now remember when the Mets played the Orioles back in early May and the Mets swept a 2-game series, Wieters was hurt. He was coming back with Tommy John surgery. Jonathan Scope was out. He was out with a knee injury. J.J. Hardy was on the disabled list. And so the Orioles were very much shorthanded. But the Orioles, who've been an up-and-down team this year, have been on a hot streak lately. 15 of the last 22. They come off a 4-game sweep of the Oakland Athletics here at Camden Yards, including an 18-run outburst on Sunday. So this is a tough team to contend with, a team that has moved into playoff position just in the last few days. 24-year-old Kevin Gausman, who adopted the sports glasses last year when he realized that he couldn't pick up the signs very well. Curtis Granderson leads off on the first pitch of the night from Gausman. A fastball that's outside, and we're underway.
And a big shift on the right side of the infield on Curtis, which we see quite frequently.
46-minute rain delay at the start with not a drop of rain falling. Granderson drives one deep right field. Back for a look is Parra, but that ball's out of here. Curtis Granderson sets a Mets club record with his 7th leadoff home run of the season, and 2 pitches into the game, the Mets have a 1-0 lead. #21st of the year for Granderson.
Fastball, outer half. Outside corner, Curtis on top of the plate, just pulled it. The ball will carry here.
And as you can hear, there are a huge number of Met fans on hand. Daniel Murphy flies one out to left, and Urrutia moves over toward the line to get it for the first out.
Very nice pronunciation.
I didn't roll the R, though.
Urrutia.
So Gausman struck quickly by Granderson, and now Yoenis Cespedes will come up. Granderson, by the way, loved hitting here as a Yankee. He had 12 home runs in 34 games and a slugging percentage over 600 at Camden Yards. And now, in his first game at Camden Yards as a Met, he hits a home run his first time up. He had been tied with Jose Reyes for the club record for leadoff home runs in a season with 6. Granderson now has 7, and thus the Mets off to a fast start. Here is Cespedes. 15 games as a Met, hitting .292, just about the same number as he put up with the Tigers.
And evidently Cespedes, over his short career in the American League, has been an Oriole killer. So good news for Met fans.
And you see Granderson's numbers. That's since he joined the Yankees. That doesn't count his numbers as a Tiger. Cespedes 3 for 9 in his career with a home run against Kevin Gausman, who misses low. 2 balls and a strike. Cespedes playing center field tonight. And when you see some of the legion of Met fans who are on hand here, they are all over the city today. Mets have had a habit in interleague play of being very successful against the Orioles, including their 2 victories earlier this season. The Mets have beaten the Orioles 8 straight times. The last time the Mets lost a game to Baltimore was back in 2009. Lucas Duda returning to the lineup tonight, waiting on deck. And Cespedes pops one down the line, a long run for Davis, and he's not going to get there.
Davis has been red hot, hitting home runs of late. 34 on the season. That is tremendico.
Taken quite a ways to get to his career high. He had 53 2 years ago. before a slumping season that ended in suspension last year. 2-2 coming, and Cespedes grounds one foul. Kevin Gausman making his 9th start for the Orioles. Joined the rotation in late June. He was on the disabled list for 6 weeks with a strained shoulder. Pitched maybe his best game of the season his last time out against Seattle. Gave up 3 runs in 7 innings. Only problem was that was the night Hisashi Iwakuma pitched a no-hitter against the Orioles, and it kind of got lost in the shuffle. Now, 6 days later, Gausman gets tacked early by Granderson's home run. 7th pitch coming to Cespedes, and he taps one foul, and he'll keep it going. That's looking to rebound. They brought their road show here on Sunday night. Took the day off here in Baltimore to regroup after getting swept over the weekend by the Pirates. And Cespedes chasing a splitter, and Gausman has the strikeout. That's the second out of the inning.
Said he fouled it, Garrett.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. The catcher Wieters made the tag thinking that he had strike 3. But the at-bat continues. No argument from Buck Showalter. And Cespedes bangs one to the right side. Jonathan Scope, the second baseman, throws him out, and that's the second out. So 2 out and nobody on. And now Lucas Duda makes his return to the lineup.
How many games did Lucas? He was like a week, didn't he?
He missed 6 starts. He did pinch hit in the game on Saturday and drew a walk in the 12th inning of the Mets' 14-inning loss. Now with a lumbar strain, and back in there tonight. 21 home runs, 55 driven in. Now tied for the club lead in home runs. Granderson hitting his 21st tonight.
We were of the opinion that Duda would DH coming off the back, and that's not the case. Kadire is the DH today. Lucas is in playing first base.
Orioles in the full triangle shift against Duda, who takes the fastball inside, 1-1. See Scope well out into shallow right field. And that fastball rings the inside corner, and it's 1-2.
Gausman more successful against left-hand hitters, .236, only giving up 2 home runs to the lefties.
Fastball just missed.
Oh, not so fast.
This would be a fun place to watch Lucas Duda play 81 games a year.
Yes, it would.
With the very inviting short porch in right field, only 318 down the line to that scoreboard fence.
Nothing compares in right field to Yankee Stadium, Garrett. Lucas, 81 games in Yankee Stadium would be sick.
But the ball does fly out of here.
Yes, it does.
The Orioles have hit 156 home runs this year. They've also given up 124. Two to Lucas, and that runs inside. 97 from Gausman.
And the Orioles at home are 16 games over 500. 36 and 20. Well, they're 11 games under 500 on the road. There's Buck Showalter.
7th pitch of the at-bat coming to Duda, and he goes down swinging to retire the side. But the Mets get off early. 2nd pitch of the game disappears into the Camden Yards ninth. Curtis Granderson is 21st of the year. His club record 7th leadoff home run gives Jacob deGrom a 1-0 early lead. A red-hot Manny Machado, a red-hot Gerardo Parra, a red-hot Chris Davis. Steve Clevenger hit his first Camden Yards home run yesterday. You get the idea. This is an Orioles team right now that's scoring runs, and one of the best run stoppers in the game is on the mound.
And one of the best pitchers in the game getting the start for the Mets, and Jacob deGrom. 7 innings of scoreless ball. The only thing unusual over his out of his last start, Gary, was he walked 4 batters. Very unusual for Jacob.
Manny Machado leads off, takes a fastball for a strike. When the Mets saw Machado in May, he was struggling. He's had knee surgery on both knees the last 2 years. Thought maybe he was a diminished player. No more. He has been tearing it up since the early part of June. 10th in the American League in batting, top 10 in on base, top 10 in slugging, top 5 in runs scored. You get the idea. 23-year-old is having a terrific year.
And from Miami, Florida, #1 draft pick, 3rd overall in the 2010 draft.
0-2 from deGrom. And he goes outside with a fastball. 1-2. Gerardo Parra on deck, and then Adam Jones. There you see the numbers since early June. Just a phenomenal season for Machado. Came up as a 19-year-old, made an instant impact with the Orioles in 2012. It's Parra, the former Brewer, who is having his best season. 1-2 from deGrom, up and away. Jacob faced the Orioles back in May, went 7 innings in that game, allowed a run on 6 hits, struck out 9, a 5-1 Mets win. And the curveball bounces in and a full count to Machado. Keith mentioned the 4 walks in his last start against Colorado. That matched a career high for Jacob. He scattered them, though. He only had 1 real jam to pitch out of in that game. He had a 1st and 3rd nobody out situation to contend with and handled it. 3-2, and Machado fouls it off. Well, Jacob for the season, 1.7 walks per 9 innings. That's 7th in the league. 9.3 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's 9th in the league. Great strikeout to walk ratio for such a young pitcher. And that's really in keeping with this entire Mets staff. Good at bat for Machado.
Well, he's making Jacob work here, and Jacob is never afraid to throw the fastball. Met faithful.
9th pitch of the opening at bat, and Machado fouls off the curveball and banged it off his foot in so doing.
So if you're wondering why that helmet has kind of a yellowish, brownish yellowish tint to it, that's pine tar. Someone needs to clean his helmet.
Well, some guys like the look, but it looks better, I think, on the darker helmets. You know, Craig Biggio used to always have all that pine tar in his helmet, but on the ostensibly white part of the helmet, it doesn't look so keen.
It almost looks like the old St. Louis Brown colors.
Well, that makes sense, right? Because before they were Baltimore Orioles, they were the St. Louis Browns.
Yes, they were. He's taking his time here. He needs to get in the box.
And now finally the trainer's going to come out and have a look. So Darno goes out for a conversation with deGrom while the trainer consults with Machado.
And a look at the Mets defense while we've got this little delay here. Brought to you by Lexus. Conforto back in the lineup. Cespedes to center. Murphy at 3rd. Kelly Johnson back in the lineup. So Sandy Alderson, excuse me, Terry Collins with Darno behind the plate continues to kind of sprinkle guys in and out.
Up and in, ball 4, and in a 10-pitch plate appearance, Machado, after fouling the ball off his leg, works out a walk.
Very, very good at bat for Machado. He's the only guy. He got 15 stolen bases. The Orioles are last in the American League in stolen bases. And Machado is got 15, caught 5 times.
Well, when you play in this bandbox of a ballpark, you don't want to waste base runners.
It's Earl Weaver baseball. Even the old Baltimore ballpark was a bandbox. Was it Memorial Stadium?
Memorial Stadium.
That's right.
Well, here's Gerardo Parra, who came over in a deadline deal from Milwaukee, having a terrific year. And he dribbles one, fair ball. DeGrom off the mound, hesitates, and still makes the play by half a stride.
He came up too quick, Gare, and did not have a good handle on the ball. Watch this. You can see just grip and juice. Didn't have a good grip.
He's rolling around in his hand.
Yep.
But he didn't panic. And gets it there right before Parra reached the bag. That's the first down. Machado moves to second. Now the perennial all-star Adam Jones. 22 home runs, 63 driven in. Now in his 8th year in Baltimore. 5 of those 8 years he's been in the all-star game, including this year.
Drove in 100 runs 2 years ago. That was his career high for a season, 108.
It's a measure of how different this Orioles team is than the one DeGrom faced in May, that there are only 4 players in the lineup tonight for the Orioles who faced DeGrom before. Showalter has a much more fortified team now with the addition of Parra and everybody healthy now. Darno hopped inside and Jones fouled it off, and he might have gotten a piece of Darno with his follow through.
Fastball in. Oof. Oh, he got the backswing, got him. The days when we were kids and some of the catchers just wore a hat behind with the mask on.
Yeah, that wouldn't fly today.
No, it would not fly.
I mean, go back far enough. Batters wore only hats and no helmets. DeGrom ahead on Jones 0-2 with Chris Davis on deck.
Well, it looks like, Gary, we talked about the red hot hitters. Look at Chris Davis right there and his numbers. Look at that, 89 RBIs. So DeGrom's got his work cut out for him.
It's an Oriole team that strikes out a lot, but they're hot right now. Jones hits a ground ball right at Kelly Johnson. And that's the second out. Machado moves to third.
Good breaking ball right there. All set up with the fastballs.
Well, here's Chris Davis, who didn't fare well against DeGrom back in May.
Big uppercut swing. Chasing a slider.
But this Chris Davis is the hottest home run hitter in baseball right now. 15 home runs and 36 RBIs over his last 25 games. He's the first Oriole in history to hit 15 home runs in a 25-game span.
That's on fire.
Yeah. Machado getting a huge lead off third with 2 out, and Davis takes a big cut of the high fastball.
Oh, you see him dial it up there? I was noticing that DeGrom was throwing like a 94 in the gun here in this first inning, and he went upstairs and put 2 extra miles on it.
With Murphy well off the line, Machado a good 25 feet down toward home plate. DeGrom 2 straight fastballs blown by Chris Davis, 0-2.
Well, when you swing up like this, what does it make you? It makes you a low ball hitter, and you have a hard time catching up with some high cheddar. And there's the defense. You see big pull.
Davis has struck out 148 times, the most in the American League. Couldn't get him to go that high out of the strike zone, 1-2.
Well, they say the reason why Chris Davis caught fire here was he stopped chasing, much like Lucas Duda, that down and in curveball bad out of the strike zone in the dirt. He's learned so far in his streak, at least, to lay off that pitch and then getting ahead in the count. Duh.
1-2 from DeGrom. And he misses with a breaking ball. 2-2.
He's going to go back up the ladder here.
2-2 coming. Pulls it foul. Chris Davis 2 years ago hit 53 home runs. Drove in 138 runs at 286. Last year just 26 home runs, 72 RBIs at 196, and then was suspended at the end of the year for unauthorized use of Adderall, for which he now has a therapeutic use exception.
Doctor shopping.
Missed the postseason last year. And he just got a piece of that to stay alive. Now there are over 100 players in the major leagues who have a therapeutic use exception to use ADD medication. He had one at one point, didn't have it last year, used it anyway, and paid the price.
It is an amphetamine derivative.
Seventh pitch of the at bat coming to Davis. Struck him out. Jacob deGrom blows away Chris Davis to work out a first inning trouble. 1-0 Mets after one. At bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Travis d'Arnaud leads off the second inning against Kevin Gausman. Mets with a 1-0 lead. And Travis rifles one foul. Travis had a home run and a double in the Mets' last game on Sunday, looking to get untracked. But that was a pretty good sign of untrackedness.
Yeah, he went 2 for 3 with a double also, Garrett.
That's not
nice.
I think that's not a word.
Well, I thought it was a great choice.
1-1 to d'Arnaud with Kelly Johnson and Michael Cuddyer to follow. Let's start the night with a 4.5 game lead over the stumbling Nationals, who are in Colorado to open a series tonight with Jordan Zimmerman on the mound. Hit toward the left side. Machado, the Gold Glover, slings it to first. 1 out. Not much gets through this Orioles infield, particularly on that left side.
Well, ball not hit particularly hard, but Machado ranges easily to his left.
Won a Gold Glove 2 years ago as a 21-year-old. He kind of has redefined the position in the American League, much as Nolan Arenado has in the National League. Here's Kelly Johnson, and he takes outside from Gausman.
Well, as young as he is, he might challenge Brooks Robinson. Brooks, of course, won, I believe, 16 Gold Gloves over there at third base. For the longest time, the leaders were Jim Cott and Brooks Robinson. with 16. Jim, unusually for a pitcher. And then Greg Maddux came and had 19.
Is it that many?
I think so.
Amazing. Johnson hits one right back to Gausman. And there are 2 out. So Gausman, after giving up the leadoff home run to Granderson, has retired 5 in a row. Some of the particulars on Kevin Gausman. Was drafted in 2012 and was in the big leagues the next year. It didn't go so well. 20 appearances in 13 at a 5.6 ERA. Last year, 20 starts for the Orioles, pitched much better, 3.57 ERA.
7-7 on the year.
This year been interrupted by injury, but now has been in the rotation since late June, and certainly is being counted on as a mainstay coming down the stretch of the season. Michael Cuddyer hitless in his last 10 at bats. Serving as the DH tonight. That's getting every available left-handed bat in the lineup, so it was really a choice of Cuddyer or Uribe to be the DH for Terry Collins tonight. He went with Cuddyer. That was a call strike 2-1.
So I stand corrected on that Maddux. I just looked it up. It's 18 golden gloves. You know what? It's still a heck of a lot.
That's a long career. Forget about gold gloves. Slowly hit. Scope grabs it. 3 ground ball outs for Kevin Gausman in an easy second inning. He's retired 6 straight. Middle of the second, DeGrom back to the mound, up 1-0. Matt Wieters leads off the home second, takes a strike from Jacob deGrom. Wieters, the talented Oriole catcher, has been sitting out the last 5 games because of a hamstring injury. Mets didn't see him back in June because he was still recovering from Tommy John surgery a year ago June, so it's been an interrupted last couple of seasons for Wieters. Another first-round pick made good by the Orioles.
They drafted well, have they not?
Speed pitch from deGrom, and it's 1-2. Wieters a switch hitter, much better right-hand hitter than left. Came out of Georgia Tech in 2007, first-round pick, 5th overall. And he hits one through the shift and into right for a base hit. The 1-2 changeup, and Wieters has the first Baltimore hit.
Kept his hands back. Switch hitting catcher.
So the Orioles have a leadoff base runner for the second straight inning. Here's Jonathan Scope. Scope missed 2.5 months earlier this year, tore up his knee in April. So another guy the Mets didn't see first time around. And after a poor offensive year last year, Scope is doing very well in the limited time he's played. He's hitting .310 with a slugging percentage of .531. Curveball yanked foul, and it's 1-1.
Interesting pronunciation of his name, the way he spells it. It's Choop. I think it would be Shope.
Well, it's kind of like when we were growing up and we saw the name Knoop and you thought it was Noop,
yep.
And it was Bobby Knoop.
Bobby Knoop with the old Angels second baseman.
1-2 to Scope. Rom had a great changeup in his last start against the Rockies and throwing it a lot early in this game. And he takes care of Scope with a fastball. Second strikeout of the night for DeGrom. One down in the second.
Got a little run in it, a little slight sink with some zip.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Steve Clevenger. Clevenger, whom the Mets have seen in the past with the Cubs, has been with the Orioles periodically over the last couple of years. Grounded down to first. Duda will go to second with it. The return throw by Flores in the dirt and not in time. So a 3-6 fielder's choice erases Wieters, and Clevenger reaches. Now, did Lucas have time to step on first and throw to second there, or did he not have time to do that?
No, he's in front of the back. Steve Garrett would take too much time. Did the right thing. And Lucas does a real good job. I mentioned it before. His footwork. He does the pivot. There's no wasted motion. He gets rid of the ball nicely.
Wieters not running hard at all coming off that bad hamstring. So Clevenger at first with 2 out. Now J.J. Hardy, who's really been slumping. Just 2 for his last 27. Hardy has really blossomed into a great player over the last half dozen years. But he had a shoulder injury earlier this year, and he has not swung the bat well this season. Flies this one out to right center. Granderson has room. And that retires the side. A leadoff single. DeGrom strands a runner again. Leads 1-0 after 2. Well, these are some classic photos from Mets days of yore.
1969 there. Bud Harrelson in the middle. Your lovable Metsies.
Michael Conforto will lead off for the Mets in the third inning. And he takes a curveball for a strike. Conforto making his 15th start for the Mets, hitting .229 through his first 48 big league at bats.
2 big home runs this young man's hit. I don't like. I just love the way he swings the bat. I think he's got a very, very bright future ahead of him. Stays disciplined, stays hitting line drives, using both gaps.
Strike 3 call. Gosman found the inside corner for his second strikeout of the night.
He's been getting a little schooled here. You know, he's a young man here, not much minor league experience. And they've been pitching him as if he's a 10-year veteran with respect. So he's learning.
The Met fans here in Baltimore giving the usual cheer for folk hero Wilmer Flores. Flores playing shortstop and batting ninth tonight. These games tonight and tomorrow, the last DH games the Mets will play this season.
That's right. They have Boston coming in and the Yankees. Yeah. That's it.
You know, it's interesting. We've talked many times about the fact that the Mets have supposedly, at least by the numbers, the easiest schedule left in Major League Baseball as they come through this final quarter of the season. With the Nationals now a sub 500 team, the Orioles and the Yankees are the only 500 plus teams left on the Mets schedule. You look at the Baltimore schedule though, and they are just the opposite. They play nothing but winning teams. They only have 2 teams left that they'll face that are under 500. They'll play the Red Sox and they'll play the Nationals, and every other team that Buck Showalter's team will play is over 500. So their schedule is a lot tougher.
They need to play the people on top of their division. They're 4 back. They're in the hunt, and they're number 2 in the playoff hunt.
Flores rifles a base hit. So after Gosman had retired 7 in a row, Flores with a 1-out single.
Nice hitting homer on a sinker.
That'll bring up Curtis Granderson, who hit the second pitch of the game over the scoreboard fence in right center for his 21st home run of the year and his 7th leadoff home run of the season, a new Mets club record. Granderson now with 1 more home run than he had all of last year. Here are the AL East standings, with the Yankees beating Minnesota last night. They're 1 game up on Toronto and 4 games up on Baltimore.
Well, first inning, leadoff home run from Curtis. Fastball didn't sink, stayed up belt high. 7th leadoff home run of the year.
The only other Met who's hit 20 home runs plus out of the leadoff spot is Tommy Agee, who did it twice. And all of Granderson's home runs this year have come leading off. Third inning presented by your local Tri-State Audi dealers and the uncompromised Audi A3 sedan. Flores at first and 1 out. Mets up 1-0 in the third. Wilmer no threat to go anywhere. He has not even attempted a stolen base this year. If you're going to beat the Orioles, you need to beat them in the first 6 innings of the game, because their bullpen has been rock solid. Just outside 1-2. Their starting pitching has been very iffy. They don't really have anybody who profiles as a #1 type of guy. Gosman's a guy they think will someday, but he's not at that point yet. Wei Yin Chen statistically has been their best guy. but they don't have that kind of top of the rotation talent. What they do have, though, is a great pen. Inside to Granderson, 2-2, and Buck Showalter uses his pen quite differently than most major league managers. He won't pitch guys back-to-back days as much as some, and he'll pitch them more than one inning more often than most.
So it makes perfect sense. If you're going to throw 2 innings in relief, you get a day off the next day.
Way if a guy's throwing well, you leave him in, pitch a second inning. You can get him on his good day.
You can only do that if you have a good bullpen.
Granderson fouls back the fastball. Boy, Curtis is getting some good swings. And there's some numbers on the Orioles bullpen. Second best in the American League so far this year to Kansas City. Led by Zach Britton and the briefly former Met Darren O'Day, who's a Met for all of 4 games. Anderson lays off. Well, he's really seeing the ball well tonight.
Yes, he is. He's seeing the ball well lately. He's really turned it on here. Finally got comfortable in the leadoff position. I think got comfortable in a Met uniform. Got comfortable in the National League.
Let's see if Flores runs. 3-2, 1 out. He's going, and Granderson fouls off the fastball. Well, that's showing a lot of confidence because Granderson has struck out 121 times this year. But Terry obviously feeling that he's in a mode where he's going to be making better contact than that. Not going, and Granderson goes down. Couldn't lay off the high fastball, and that's the 3rd strikeout for Gausman.
You can see the expression on his face. We've all done that.
Even you?
I did it a few times with Nolan Ryan with that high rider.
So 2 out. Flores still at first, and now Daniel Murphy, who flied to left his first time up. Murphy just 1 hit in his last 12 at bats after a 10-game hitting streak. And the fastball rides inside. When the Mets faced the Orioles earlier this year, Gausman was working out of the bullpen, and Mets saw him for just 1 inning. Curveball lined the other way, and that's a fair ball going to the corner. Flores digging for 3rd. Urrutia picks it up. Flores going to be waved home. The relay throw is dropped, and the Mets get the run. It looked like Scope was going to have him out dead to rights at the plate, but he dropped the throw from left field, and that enables Flores to score from first, and it's 2-0 New York.
2 outs. Tim Tuffle playing aggressive, and I agree. Nice hitting, Murph, on a good pitch. Down and away breaking ball. Slices it right down the line. Overthrows the original cutoff man.
Oh, he would have had him.
Oh, dead to rights.
They're calling that a double in an RBI.
Look at the wide turn Wilmer made. Just not a good turn.
Well, it was a very aggressive move by Tim Tuffle, and you know it could have blown up in his face, but it paid off when Scope dropped the ball. So it's 2-0 New York. A double and an RBI for Murphy, his 25th double of the year. And Cespedes fouls it off, and with that, Murph has broken the tie with Hojo for 4th place on the Mets all-time double list. It's his 215th career double. Cespedes grounded out to second base his first time up. Looking to pick up Murphy from second with 2 out. The Mets against the Pirates over the weekend were 0 for the series with runners in scoring position. 0 for 16 in the 3 games. And this is their first opportunity tonight with a runner in scoring position.
Can't figure out what they want to throw here. They finally get on the same page.
Pulled down to third, and Machado handles it. And that retires the side, but the Mets get something of a gift. Daniel Murphy with an RBI double, and it puts the Mets and DeGrom up 2-0 in the third. Henry Urrutia, the left fielder and number 9 hitter, will lead off for the Orioles.
Urrutia. Double R. You got to roll it.
You can roll it. Urrutia bangs one foul. Urrutia is 28 years old. He's a Cuban defector. Had some big league time with the Orioles 2 years ago, but then had a sports hernia last year that set him back and has spent most of this season in the minor leagues. And it takes a strike 0-2. 107 games in AAA, hitting .292, but only 12 big league at bats for Urrutia. Is that better?
Yes, this is his 4th game too.
Breaking ball, and DeGrom gets it. 3rd strikeout for Jacob DeGrom. What was the season's best for Jacob DeGrom? Well, you got to go back to a start in May. 2 starts after his bad start at Wrigley Field, he faced the Cardinals and had a tremendous day. 8 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 11 strikeouts. Never better.
You know what's impressive about that? Of all the 11 strikeouts, only 2 called third strikes. There were 9 swings and misses.
And against a Cardinal team that was just red hot at the time.
Yep.
And he cooled them down. There's Manny Machado, takes a curveball for a strike. Machado walked his first time up.
This is a big game for the Mets to win and DeGrom to pitch. If you're going to be the stopper of this club, you got to stop the bleeding. They've lost a big 3. Ended on a sour note. You go on the road here playing against a good Eastern Division American League team.
Well, it's the start of a 9-game road trip. They've got the 2 here in Baltimore. And obviously the Orioles are a very good team playing well right now. Flores fields the grounder and throws out Machado 2 out. And then you go to Colorado where you never know what's going to happen.
Not there.
Right.
There you just flip a coin.
Exactly. So there are no givens. And then they have 4 in Philadelphia. The Phillies are playing better, although the Phillies got terrible news today. Their fine young third baseman Maikel Franco has a fractured wrist and is going to be out for the rest of the season.
Well, there's one thing I've always was taught to me, drummed into me. And when you are a contending team, no matter home or road, you've got to beat up on those last place teams, those second division teams. So I look at it as a big opportunity for the Mets this road trip.
Well, the Mets beat up on the Phillies big time early in the season. when the Phillies were playing horribly. It'll be interesting to see now that the Phillies are playing a little better whether the Mets can have as much success. Gerardo Parra hit one back to DeGrom his first time. This time shoots it toward the middle. Flores with the spinorama. He got him. Side retired. Wilmer Flores showing off some range and gunning down Parra. Nicely done by Wilmer. Right on target. That gives DeGrom his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. 2-0 Mets as we go to the fourth. Camden Yards tonight, where we had a 42-minute rain delay for rain that never came. Lucas Duda leads off the fourth inning and takes a strike from Kevin Gausman.
Gausman likes to pitch to lefties in here the second time through the order. That's why lefties are only hitting .236 against him. He uses that inside corner nicely. That's a strange looking glove, isn't it? Strange color. Oh, it's got the Nike swoosh on it, so no wonder. It's kind of ugly.
What color is the ideal glove?
Leather.
Well, what color is that?
I don't know. It's just bizarre. Even the shape of it too is different.
Travis d'Arnaud on deck, then Kelly Johnson for the Mets in the fourth. Mets up 2-0. And Duda bounces one foul, 2-2. Well, they're underway in Denver. The Rockies and the Nationals. The former Brave David Hale is pitching for the Rockies tonight. Matt Williams put Jason Worth in the leadoff spot tonight to try and get that offense going. Duda lays off, and it's 3-2 for the second straight at bat.
Well, an ideal time. Mets had some opportunities to pick up on that 4.5 game lead. But Pirates said no to that. They're good, the Pirates. They're a good team.
3-2 from Gausman, and Duda pops one foul. That'll come back out of play. Well, the Pirates then went home and lost to the Diamondbacks last night. They got shut down by Jeremy Hellickson. And the Pirates are up 4-3 on the Diamondbacks tonight. Seventh pitch coming to Duda, and he bounces that one foul. So they're running Gausman's pitch count up there. A lot of long at bats early in this game. Gosman has struck out 3, hasn't walked anybody. Came in averaging 2.4 walks per 9 innings.
The Orioles did not have an off day yesterday. They finished a 4-game series with Oakland, which they swept.
Again, the 3-2. And Duda fouls off another one. During tonight's game, you can get interactive with SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, featuring pitch-by-pitch coverage, player cards, and in-depth stats. Check out SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports.
Such a statistic sport, baseball. It's become even more so now.
More indifferent. Duda with a long turn at bat. Granderson had a 9-pitch at bat in the last inning. Duda's already seen 9 and still going. And it's not a recipe for a starting pitcher sticking around a long time. And Duda hits one through the shift, and he's got himself a base hit. Broke his bat on the breaking ball, but he's got himself a leadoff single to start the 4th.
Nice at bat by Lucas. Here's a changeup, Gary. Got him out in front, out the end of the bat. There's the big leg kick. Towards the end, didn't get it down or away enough.
So Duda aboard. Darno coming up. We check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, one of the things we've been doing here over the last few weeks is checking in with different guys about how they set up at the plate when they await a pitch. And you know, Travis d'Arnaud is kind of unique because he doesn't always do exactly the same thing. Let's see what he does right here. Sometimes he puts the bat and rests it on his back shoulder. Sometimes he doesn't. I asked him about that, and he basically said he doesn't really know what he does. He goes out there kind of very loosely, not really thinking about too much. The only thing that he does focus on is making sure that his feet are spread decently apart. Last year, that was one of the things that he didn't think he did very well. His feet were too close together, and when he went down to Vegas, he got that fixed. Wasn't lunging at the ball as much after he did get that fixed. But Keith, you know, I think the interesting thing that I found about this conversation with d'Arnaud is how nonchalant he was about his setup, and that was one of the things last year that got him sent down, was he was thinking so much. And when he came back up, he kept saying, hey, I just go up there trying to see the ball, hit the ball. And you talk to him now and you hear those types of things, and it seems like that really is what he's thinking. Just go up there, see the ball, hit the ball.
Well, you know, a lot of times you get lost in thought and when you struggle, as d'Arnaud did that first year. Remember, he got sent down and he struggled woefully. And everything goes wrong, and you're thinking about everything instead of focusing on your basics. Well, here's his home run. Very quick inside. Fastball in. I love it. I love d'Arnaud's swing. He's got a fast bat. He's a gap-to-gap hitter. He's much in the same vein as Conforto, but a right-hand hitter.
You know, Steve brought us a report earlier this year talking about all the work that the Mets catchers do to prepare for each game and their written reports and all that. And I would think with all that's on the plate of a catcher like d'Arnaud, that it would certainly serve him well to put less thought into his hitting. You know what I mean? And not be as uptight about that, because he's got so much information running through his brain for the other side of the game.
Or vice versa.
As he goes up and away to strike out on that fastball. 4th strikeout for Gosman.
Vice versa, less information on your catching duties and focus more on your offense.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the other side of the coin. I mean, as you become more experienced, Gary, and d'Arnaud plays, he's going to become familiar with the hitters. He's not going to need to go to that computer bank. He's going to have it in his own head, particularly in division.
There's Kelly Johnson, retired on a comebacker his first time. And Gosman blows one upstairs. 0-1. Johnson playing second base today. The Mets are going to very soon have a glut of infielders. And I say that because it looks as though David Wright will be back with the Mets probably when they get to Philadelphia on Monday. And I wonder, with all the guys now at Terry's disposal, Johnson and Murphy and Tejada and Flores and Uribe, and add David Wright to that mix, it's going to be very interesting to see how the playing time gets dispensed. Scope will go to second with it, and the relay not in time. Machado covering the bag at second, so it's a 4-5 force play on Duda for the second out.
That's the second broken bat to a left-hand hitter in this inning, which is off the end of the bat again. So he's mixing in the changeup this second time through the order. Remember, I noticed earlier how he pitched inside to lefties. So he establishes in, second time through the order, going to the cambio.
So 2 out. Johnson now at first. And Michael Kadire the batter. Kadire grounded out his first time up. Reeder scoops it out of the dirt. 1-0. The other thing that's going to be interesting, if Wright does come back on Monday and nothing else happens in the interim, such as an injury, is who goes.
I have a hunch who it's going to be.
Conforto?
I think to get some at bats, Gary, because it's going to come right back up September 1st. It's you can't move Kelly Johnson. You don't want to. You're not going to move Uribe. So you have enough.
Unless it's Lagares.
That's a real possibility too.
I mean, at one point you would have blanched at that thought, but I don't know. There's no easy answer to that question. Line to center field, and Kadire's got a base hit. Johnson pulls in at second. So the Mets with a couple of hits in the inning. Kadire snaps an 0 for 11. And there are 2 on and 2 out for Conforto. The other guy who they could say, again, I'm not advocating for any of these. I'm just talking about possibilities. What about Flores? If you're going to have so many infielders, maybe he could go down for that week and pull him back in on September 1st.
It's going to be, whoever gets picked is not going to be a happy camper.
Right. Well,
that's the way it goes.
It's you can only have 25 on your roster at a time, and you're going to make a spot for your captain. Here's Conforto with 2 out and 2 on, and he takes a fastball on the inside corner.
So they're kind of surprising Conforto here. They struck out Conforto looking the first at bat. He took 2 fastballs inside the first at bat. Final one to strike out. Let him off inside with a fastball first pitch.
That one missed inside. Well, Yunel Escobar just did a 2-run homer in the top of the first off Jorge De La Rosa, and the Nats have gone up 2-0. Boy, where would they be without Escobar? He's been their best player, other than Bryce Harper this year.
Right. Well, yeah, Bryce Harper probably having a player of the year type season.
But I mean, who expected Escobar to have that kind of impact?
No, I agree.
They picked him up for Tyler Clippard.
Plus, he's doing it going into over to third base.
We just took that off the knee, and the trainer's going to come out for a look.
That always hurts. You can have all the padding you want, the shin guards. When it's off the knee, it hurts. And I can't say from experience. I've just been told by former teammates that were catchers that it hurts. It's the one spot they don't want to get nailed on.
He's had so many issues to deal with, most recently a hamstring, and now he gets drilled in the knee. The good thing for Buck Showalter is he's had fine backups in Weeder's spot. Caleb Joseph has done a nice job. Lately they have had Clevenger, who's DHing today. 1-2 to Conforto. And he flies one foul. That'll go out of play. Gosman at 76 pitches already in the 4th inning. There's Flores waiting on deck. Johnson at second, Kadire at first with 2 down. And Conforto goes down swinging on the high fastball. And that ends the inning. 5 strikeouts for Kevin Gausman. Mets strand a pair, still lead 2-0. Series tomorrow. Noah Syndergaard for the Mets, Ubaldo Jimenez for the Orioles. Mets will then head off to Denver, have an off day Thursday, and open their series with the Rockies Friday night. Adam Jones leads off in the home 4th inning against Jacob deGrom. Drops down the butt, but deGrom's right there to play it. One easy out for deGrom to start the 4th.
Thank you very much, Adam Jones. And it's Stump Gary night, Verizon Stump Gary. Which 2 Mets recorded a save in the 1969 World Series?
Well, Ron Taylor was one. Did Tug get a save? Let's think about that. Here's Chris Davis. Or did Nolan Ryan get a save?
Maybe I'm thinking
3.
I'm thinking Nolan.
Well, he came in for Gentry. What I don't remember is whether he finished the game. Fouled away. I'll go with that. I'll go with Ron Taylor and Nolan Ryan.
Okay.
And you can look it up and see if I'm right.
But I won't tell the folks at home.
No, don't tell anybody until we reveal the actual answer. Davis struck out his first time up. And deGrom keeps it inside on him. 2-1. All right, well.
Oh, I can't even look it up. Nolan Ryan, good call. And I will look it up and see.
It was definitely game 3 for Gentry, because he also came in for Gentry in game 3 of the LCS against the Braves. Oh, watch out, Keith.
Don't scare me.
No, it was coming our way. I didn't want you to get surprised by it. I mean, with the way our booth is configured at home, we never have foul balls, but here we're close enough and open enough that we might get one. On the inside corner, got him looking. And deGrom using that changeup to get Chris Davis. Second time he's fanned Davis, his 4th strikeout of the night.
Ron Taylor had 2 saves in that series, Garrett.
Right.
Game 1 and game 2. And Nolan relieved Gentry, who got the win after 6 2/3. And he went 2 1/3. Obviously finished the game It was a 5-0 Mets.
Go back to the league championship series in '69. Ryan came in for Gentry early in that game and slammed the door. Game 3, the one they clinched.
7 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 7 punches.
7 innings in relief.
Yes.
And he got the win.
He only walked 2.
And Wieters having to vacate on the inside fastball.
Mets beat up on Pat Jarvis that game, if you recall.
That whole series was very high scoring. That last game, the third game, was back and forth. A lot of home runs. Henry Aaron hit one dead center against Gentry. Check swing. Wieters did not go around. Got a pass from C.B. Buckner, 2-1. Well, Carlos Gonzalez has just hit a 2-run homer off Jordan Zimmerman in the bottom of the first.
So there we go.
And the Rockies tie up the Nats 2-2. Forest Field. 2-1 coming. And the curveball fouled off.
Well, Carlos Gonzalez had a good series in Washington that last time. Helped the Mets out.
Rockies won 2 out of 3 in D.C. before they came to Citi Field, and the Mets swept them 4 straight. DeGrom has retired 8 in a row. Wieters rolls over one. Duda says, I'll take it myself. Side retired. 9 straight retired by DeGrom. We're through 4 at Camden Yards. Mets 2. Orioles nothing.
Out to go as Kuzman serves up this for the amazing team of destiny. And it's only right that Cleon Jones can savor the final seconds of his flight. Look who's number 1. The world champions of baseball, the New York Mets.
Well, the Mets and Orioles will always be linked in history by that historic 1969 World Series.
Well, what's hilarious about that final out is when you see the crowd on the mound, but if you look in the background, you see A.G. and Cleon running to right field to the bullpen to get the heck off the field.
They knew that the mob was coming. Omar Flores had a base hit and scored in the third. Everybody talks about the miracle Mets of '69, and what they did was miraculous enough, just that they came from being a 9th place team the year before and being 9.5 games out of first place in August to win the World Series. But the fact that they dominated an Orioles team that won 109 games that year was just phenomenal. It's almost a footnote. That was a great Orioles team that they beat.
They had Cuellar, Palmer, and was McNally on that team? Yes, sir.
Flores flies one out to right. Long run for Parra, and the Gold Glover gets there, one away.
Well, there they are. Look at their exit Snagglepuss. Exit stage right.
AG top right and Leon top
going.
middle. They're headed for the right field bullpen because they know the crowd is coming.
Heaven to Murgatroyd.
Cleon has told that story a number of times about how he first looked to the left field bullpen, realized that the crowd was already almost on top of him, and so he went the other way. Curtis Granderson takes ball one. Granderson got the night started for the Mets with his 21st home run of the year, his club record 7th leadoff home run of the year.
Well, I was a sophomore in high school, a National League fan, and when the Orioles beat Seaver the first game, I said they're toast. We all thought they were toast anyway, right?
Well, I mean, that's what was expected, right? Don Buford hit the leadoff home run against Seaver at Memorial Stadium, and they lost the game, and they never lost again.
Yep.
Granderson hits another one deep to center field. Back goes Adam Jones to the warning track. Back at the wall, leaping. It's out of here! Curtis Granderson with his second home run of the game. Number 22 for Granderson, and the Mets lead at 3-0. Curtis wasn't sure that it cleared the wall, but it sure did. A 2-home run game for Curtis Granderson, and the Mets lead 3-0.
Wow. He hit this ball better than the first one. Same pitch, Gary. Same pitch.
And Curtis was not sure. Thought maybe Adam Jones had caught the ball. Jones made a great leap, but came up empty. Third multiple home run game of the season for Granderson. And a 3-0 Met lead.
That ball was crushed.
Scope in front of the grounder, and he throws out Murphy. The fences here at Camden Yards are only 7 feet high, which enables outfielders to rob home runs, and Jones gave it his best effort.
Oh, just out of reach. Could have got hurt.
Yesterday, Billy Burns of the A's went to the center field fence to take one away from Chris Davis in similar fashion, but not this time. '18th time in Curtis's career he's hit multiple home runs in a game. Cespedes takes low and away for ball one.
Third time this season. It's nice to hear the official score, whatever you want to call it, up here in the press booth.
Orioles shift to the left side. That pays off for them. Hardy throws out Cespedes. Side retired, but the Mets tack on a run on Curtis Granderson's second of the night. Halfway through, 3-0 New York. Home 5th inning. Jonathan Scope leads off against Jacob deGrom. Pops one up. Lucas Duda right there. 1 pitch, 1 out for deGrom. Second straight inning. He's gotten the first out on 1 pitch, which takes us to Jacob deGrom's on-base percentage against leadoff hitters in inning. This is a phenomenal number. When the opponent leads off an inning, they have a 179 on-base percentage against deGrom. Now, just to put that in perspective, no major league qualifying pitcher has had a season in which they've been under 200 on-base percentage against leadoff hitters since 1989, when Sid Fernandez put up a 190.
And of all people, Sid, you wouldn't think that.
That's not just for the Mets. That's in the major leagues. So he's at 179 coming into the day, and there's been nobody under 200 in 26 years. That's how dominant he's been. And, you know, it's an old axiom. If you keep the leadoff hitter off base, got a pretty good chance of getting through the inning. Johnson with a nice play on the backhand, throws out Clevenger for the second out.
Well, it's certainly a recipe for success.
Well, I think the major league average is if the leadoff batter gets on, the team scores in that inning about 51% of the time. If you get the leadoff hitter out, it's 16%.
Right.
So there's an enormous difference getting that leadoff hitter out or not.
Well, leading off an inning, remember for years they said if a leadoff walk scored 60% of the time, so it's not far off from that.
J.J. Hardy takes a strike. Meanwhile, deGrom's retired 11 in a row of all nature, not just leadoff hitter.
He's pitching today, mixing in that breaking ball nicely. Oh, very clean shaven, Dan Warthen.
How much do you think he's enjoying this day after day, watching these guys that he's helped nurture, dominate? Driven to right field. Granderson's not going to get this. It goes to the wall. Hardy heads to second, and he'll make it easily with a 2-out double. So that snaps the string of 11 in a row retired by deGrom. Just a second hit for the Orioles.
Got the ball up and away. Nice hitting by Hardy. Went right with it.
So now the number 9 hitter, Henry Urrutia, who was overmatched by deGrom his first time up, struck out on 3 pitches. Overmatched again.
Little tardy. You got to dial it up a notch.
By the way, the Rockies tacked on another run in that first inning against Jordan Zimmerman. 3-2 Colorado going to the second.
I have a suspicion that if they lose 2 out of 3, go ahead, Gary, your 5th inning recap.
The Verizon 5th inning recap. Rom's allowed 2 hits. Granderson's hit 2 home runs.
I think if Washington loses 2 out of 3, I think heads will roll.
Well, after the game on Sunday, Mike Rizzo was asked about Matt Williams, and he said, I have supported Matt Williams every moment since he was hired. It was a very strong vote of confidence. So we'll see.
Well, they've certainly underperformed.
Outside, it's 3-1 to Urrutia with Manny Machado on deck.
Everybody figured a very, very weak National League Eastern Division, which I think it is. You could make the argument it's the weakest division in the MLB, and everybody figured that Washington would just steamroll right through it, cruise. Not the case.
Hasn't been that way from day one. 3-1 coming, and Urrutia went around on the half swing, 3-2. I mean, they had excuses for a long time because a lot of people were hurt.
Yeah, well, everybody had injuries. The Mets have had their share of injuries.
But to me, the shocking part about the Nationals since the All-Star break has been their pitching, which was supposed to be foolproof. And their pitching has been dreadful since the All-Star break. 3-2 to Urrutia.
Line to left, coming on Conforto off the plate on a hop. Trying to score is Hardy. Here comes the throw on a hop, and he is out at the plate. Michael Conforto with the perfect one-hop throw to gun down Hardy and end the inning. They said there were questions about his defense. I don't know. He's made awfully good.
He's made all the plays so far that I've seen. Nice throw. Hit the cutoff man, too.
Darno gets the tag down on Hardy, and that's how the bottom of the fifth comes to an end. 3-0 New York. Field Friday, August 28th, when the Mets take on the Red Sox at 7:10. All fans in attendance will receive a Mets New York logo T-shirt, courtesy of Pepsi. For tickets, visit Mets.com/free shirt Fridays. Lucas Duda did not swing, according to CB Buckner. Sixth inning, Lucas had a broken bat hit his last time up, 1 for 2 in his return to the lineup. Facing Kevin Gausman, who gets the off-speed pitch in for a strike, 1-1. Duda, Darno, and Johnson against Gausman, who's up over 90 pitches now. No action as yet in the Orioles bullpen. 2-1 Duda. Kevin Gausman grew up in Centennial, Colorado, with Darno on deck, and then went to college at LSU. And you wondered, why does a kid from Colorado wind up pitching in college in Louisiana? Well, he grew up in Colorado, but his family was from Nebraska, specifically from Omaha. And his great-grandfather installed the lights at Rosenblatt Stadium, where they play the College World Series every year. And part of the deal in installing the lights, his grandfather got 8 seats in the front row for all the College World Series games. And so Gausman used to go to the College World Series every year, and LSU had a great team every year. And he saw them play, fell in love with the school, and wound up going there. Adam Jones has the fly ball, 1 out. The only problem with that whole story is that when he went to LSU, they never went to the College World Series.
Really? Now, that's a nice story. Well,
but that's a pretty good deal, right? You install the lights in the stadium, and you get 8 front row seats in perpetuity.
So, yes, instead of getting paid.
Right.
Nicely done. Nice bartering.
I hope they still have the seats in the new stadium, because, you know, they don't play it at Rosenblatt anymore.
I played in Rosenblatt Stadium, AAA. That's a hot town, boy, in the summer. Omaha.
Ooh. Get a great steak.
Mutual of Omaha, Marlon Perkins.
Wild Kingdom. 1-1 to Darno. Kelly Johnson on deck. There's a strike, 1-2. So Jose Reyes just hit a home run. Rockies 4, Nationals 2 in the second inning. Breaking ball misses 2-2. This will be Gausman's 99th pitch of the night. And he misses low, 3-2. Well, Gausman threw a season high 113 pitches in his last start in Seattle. And just now the Orioles are going to get their bullpen cranking. And that's ball 4. Darno is on with Gausman's first walk of the night. Let's check in with Doug Williams in the studio for a game break brought to you by Honda.
Wow.
Humidor must be broken down tonight. Here's Kelly Johnson, who's 0 for 2. Darno at first and 1 out, and Gausman misses inside. T.J. McFarland, the left-hander, is up in the Orioles bullpen. One of 3 lefties in the Orioles pen. One of those lefties is their closer, Zach Britton. But that gives them plenty of flexibility in that bullpen.
Right.
But we said it earlier, the goal for the Orioles on most nights is to get their starter into the 6th, and often the bullpen will handle it from there. Of course, the goal is to get into the 6th with the lead, but the way DeGrom has been pitching tonight, it's a hard task. Want to know to Kelly Johnson, who played briefly as an Oriole last year during his tour of the American League East. Kelly's played for all 5 American League East teams. 19 games as an Oriole last year. Got the Amtrak frequent traveler's card. Good fastball by Gausman, 1-2.
They've got the shift on for Kelly also. Upstairs fastball. In vogue. All these shifts.
One, 2. And Kelly pops it up. That'll head toward the seats. The Orioles have had such an odd year. They stumbled along early. They had a stretch in June when they won 16 of 20 and went into first place. Then they lost 15 of 20. And now they've won 15 of 22. I mean, they have been very hot or very cold for most of the last 3 months. And they find themselves right now in playoff position in that second wild card spot, but there are a host of teams breathing down their neck. Johnson down on strikes. It's number 6 for Gausman. 2 out in the inning.
Upstairs.
So 2 out. Darno still at first, and now Michael Kadire, who singled to center his last time up, snapping an 0 for 11 stretch. Gausman, well over 100 pitches, still has his good fastball working.
I like it when he throws his fastball upstairs in the letters. It's an effective pitch for him.
Well, this is a kid who was the number 3 overall pick in the draft, or excuse me, number 4 overall pick in the draft in 2012, and of whom great things were expected. Broken back grounder. Scope comes in to get it and threw it away.
Very la-di-da.
D'Arnaud goes to third. A very casual play by Jonathan Scope. Ball was slowly hit, and he showed no urgency at all and threw it away.
This is called the T for 2. Little two-step la-di-da all the way. That's just lazy. Terrible throw, bad play. See if the Mets can take advantage.
It's an error all the way on Scope. D'Arnaud went all the way to the third.
You got a guy out there that's not playing. D'Arnaud very alertly keep his eye on the ball, not taking anything for granted. But you got a guy that's got limited playing time, and you just don't want to make mistakes like that. Lazy mistakes.
So now Conforto will try and take advantage. Conforto, who saved a run in the last half inning, now trying to produce a run with 2 out. Well, maybe they'd bring in the lefty to face Conforto at this point. McFarland all warmed up and ready to go. Gausman at 108 now, but he's staying in because he struck out Conforto his first 2 times up. Looking in the third, swinging in the fourth. First and third and 2 out. And Conforto slices one to left. On comes Urrutia to get it, and that retires the side. A walk, an error, and 2 men left. Middle of the 6th. Mets 3. Orioles nothing. Lead. We want to apologize for the technical glitch that inadvertently caused some of our affiliates to go to commercial in the middle of that last half inning.
We've been reading your tweets. It's not the case, folks.
Manny Machado flies one deep to center field. Cespedes back, has room, and puts it away. 1 pitch and 1 out. 3rd straight inning that DeGrom has gotten the first batter of the inning on 1 pitch.
All good.
Well, we've heard a lot from Matt Harvey lately talking about having shorter at-bats, pitching to contact, not thinking as much about strikeouts. Do you see that from DeGrom, or is that just happens?
I just think it's aggressive hitting. DeGrom throws strikes. I mean, if I'm going to have to face DeGrom, I'm going to look at his stats. His 28 walks in 140-something innings, now 150-something. He throws strikes. That's a strike thrower. I'm going to go up there aggressive.
There's Gerardo Parra taking high. By the way, speaking of Matt Harvey, Terry Collins said definitively today that at some point between now and the end of the season, the Mets are going to have to skip one of Harvey's starts to keep his innings total down. And it wasn't mentioned at the time whether that would be sooner or later, but there's every chance that the Mets might skip Harvey this weekend in Colorado, which would make a lot of sense. After all, who needs to pitch in Colorado? 2-0 to Parra. So stay tuned on that. The Mets, remember, called up Logan Verrett today, and Terry kind of sort of backhandedly intimated that maybe Verrett might start this weekend. He said he'd have him in the bullpen today and tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens. So I don't think any of that's cast in stone, but it sounds as though the Mets are at least thinking about skipping Harvey this weekend and giving Verrett a start.
They've got to do it with when Verrett starts. You don't think he's going to go 9. He's probably going to go 5. So your bullpen's really got to be rested.
And in Colorado, nobody goes 9 anyway, right?
Right.
So Verrett was starting games when he was down in Las Vegas, although he pitched in relief in the big leagues. Parra hits one deep to right field. Granderson back to the warning track, takes a look, and it's out of here. Gerardo Parra breaks up the shutout with his 13th home run of the year, his 4th as an Oriole. He's just having a great season. And it cuts the Mets lead to 3-1. Since August the 11th, Gerardo Parra has the highest batting average in the major leagues, hitting .362 coming into the day, and he's hitting for power as well.
That was a high changeup out over the plate. His 11th home run against right-handers.
So DeGrom's now given up hits to 3 of his last 4 batters. Adam Jones fouls one back. DeGrom had allowed just 1 hit through 4 2/3. Hardy doubled and Urrutia singled in the 5th. Orioles were kept off the board on Michael Conforto's good throw to the plate to get Hardy. Now Parra takes DeGrom deep with 1 out in the 6th. T.J. McFarland getting ready in the Orioles bullpen. And Jones takes a fastball wide, 1-1. Jones tried to bunt his way on his last time up, and DeGrom threw him out easily. Such consistency from Adam Jones, much in the mold of an Eddie Murray, who would put up the same great numbers year after year. The Orioles hit home runs. They've hit 157 now, which is 4th in the American League. Has always been a good player. He has really gone to the next level this year. Hitting over .320, 13 home runs, slugging percentage over .500 to go with his Gold Glove defense.
Poked the other way. Johnson runs it down to Spinorama, and he's got him. Terrific play by Kelly Johnson on a ball that appeared to be by him. And he throws out Adam Jones for the second out.
Well, the ball wasn't hit that hard. Watch Johnson, top of your TV screen. Good range to his left. Good jump.
Jones claiming Duda was off the bag. Is that what he was pointing at?
Dreaming.
No challenge by the Orioles.
Dream on.
So 2 out now. Chris Davis, who's been up twice and struck out both times, swinging in the 1st, looking in the 4th. He has now struck out 150 times this year, with more than a quarter of a season left to go.
Just there
5
he is.
Bats against DeGrom, 5 strikeouts.
Can't catch up to that high cheddar.
Don't make a mistake though. He has just been raging hot. At one point, he's hit 6 home runs in a 6-game stretch. That's 15 since the All-Star break. That would be former Oriole Nelson Cruz. By the way, the Nats just tied up the Rockies 4-4 in the third.
It's going to be one of those games.
Exactly. Two to Davis.
Change up now. He's going to just bust him upstairs again.
Struck him out. 6 times in a row now, DeGrom has struck out Chris Davis.
There's the great Eddie Murray. Traded from the Cincinnati Reds to the Orioles after the 1965 season because the Reds thought he was an old 30. And all he did his first year as an Oriole in 1966 was win the Triple Crown and lead the Orioles to a World Series title, sweeping the Dodgers in 4 games.
The only player in the Major League history to win the most valuable player in both leagues.
586 home runs. He was one of the all-time greats, first African-American manager in the major leagues as well. Wilmer Flores leads off against the new Oriole pitcher, T.J. McFarland.
Well, there's his numbers right there. The left-hander, only 19 innings pitched. Too many hits, too many walks. I don't know how the ERA is so low. He must be giving up other people's runs.
26 years old. Picked up by the Orioles few winters ago in the Rule 5 draft from the Indians, and he's been a nice pickup for them. Flores 1 for 2, singled and scored back in the third. Curtis Granderson, who's sitting on 2 home runs tonight, is on deck. Flores slices one foul, and it's 1-2. Kevin Gausman, 109 pitches in 6 innings. He allowed 3 runs, 6 hits, a walk, 6 strikeouts, and the 2 home runs to Granderson.
Curtis could hit 30 home runs. How about that?
Got 22, and he's got over a quarter of a season to go. Flores hits one to center, right at Adam Jones. 1 out. Well, the one thing Curtis has not done this year, and he's done a lot of things well, is hit left-handed pitching. And
you would be right.
The numbers against lefties are an aberration for his career. He's always struggled more against lefties than against righties, but never like this.
150, Garrett, 100 at bats.
And what, 1 home run?
1 home run, 4 doubles, 15 for 100.
And he takes the breaking ball for a strike.
These are both home runs. The one on the left's the first. The one on the right is the segunda, and you can see same pitch. A little bit up on the second home run on the right of your screen. That's why it was hit higher. It was more of a fly ball.
Led off the game with a home run on Gausman's second pitch, then hit one in the 5th inning as well.
So my advice to pitchers, don't throw it in that spot.
Is it that easy?
And that's 100 at bats too. I don't want to keep piling on, but 39 strikeouts and 100 at bats. It's a lot of strikeouts. So Curtis is going to have a very one-sided Stratomatic card.
Well, let me ask you this. Curtis has been an everyday player his entire career, and he's had a fantastic season for the Mets as their leadoff hitter. But given the depth on this team right now, would you consider sitting him against left-handers?
Well, I would keep him in the lineup because he's kind of electrified this team. And there he goes down right there. His on-base percentage too, Gary, is 196 against left-handers.
So would you consider dropping him in the lineup?
No.
Lately against the lefties, Terry has moved him out of the leadoff spot, hit Lagares first, and hit Granderson second.
Well, Lagares has been the big disappointment this year, offensively.
Here's Murphy, who drove in a run with a double in the 3rd.
Get out of here. You get hurt out there.
And McFarland just misses. Murphy also has struggled at times against lefties this year, more than in the past.
Big time, very surprisingly. But Daniel, when the men are on base, has hit left-handers better. But you're right, it's been a down year for him as far as hitting lefties.
Well, he's got one there as he slices one down the left field line. Urrutia into the corner to get it, and Murphy's got his second double of the day, his 26th of the year.
Well, Murph has become more of a pull hitter. I love it when he goes the other way. Nice hitting. Now another guy that struggled against left-handers, Garrett.
Well, this will be an interesting call for Buck Showalter because Cespedes does have poor numbers against lefties. You got Duda on deck. Will they pitch to Cespedes here with first base open?
They're going to walk him, it looks like.
Reeders puts out the 4 fingers, and they will walk him. So Buck's going to ignore those lefty-righty numbers for Cespedes and take his chances with Duda.
Now Duda early hitting .304 against the lefties this year, but those numbers have come down. He had the real hot start against left-handers.
So he's walking a guy who's hitting .180 against lefties and bringing up a guy who's hitting .300 against lefties.
Well, I always like to see a manager that goes against statistics.
Yeah.
You know, not everything is. Yes, not everything is numbers oriented. And an echo up here.
And so the Mets have 2 men on and Duda coming up. You know, Loudmouth just isn't the same when it's just Carlin.
So we're looking for his new partner. Think you have the larynx to be the next Loudmouth? Well, then send a 30-second clip of your best rant about a hot topic in New York sports to loudmouths at sny.tv. And you could earn a chance to audition with Chris Carlin in the SNY studio.
One's enough.
Why don't you try?
No, I'm not doing it.
You could rant.
I'm horrible in studio.
Here's Duda, who's 1 for 3, 2 out and 2 on. Mets up 3-1 in the 7th, and it takes a strike. That's a great opportunity to be the next Loudmouth.
Great. I'll look forward to it. When do I audition?
Oh, that would be great. Can you imagine how the ratings on that show would go through the roof if you were the next loudmouth?
No.
It would be must-see TV.
Really?
Oh, we got to work on this.
I want you after this game to go home, go up to your room and leave me alone.
0-2 to Duda, and he just got a piece of that. I think we got something here. If you could do it remotely from your house.
Oh.
Like they do on the Intentional Talk Show, right?
Maybe poolside in the backyard.
Yeah. Carlin in the studio and you at Shea Keith. You're very opinionated. Here's the 0-2 coming, and Duda flies one to shallow center. Adam Jones comes in, and so the strategy pays off for Buck Showalter as Duda flies out to end the inning. Stretch time. Mets up 3-1. DeGrom has given up just a solo home run to Gerardo Parra over the first 6 innings. Kevin Gausman out after 6. He gave up 2 home runs to Curtis Granderson. Matt Wieters leads off the home 7th and takes ball 1 from DeGrom. Michael Givens is up in the Oriole bullpen. Wieters 1 for 2, singled back in the 2nd, and takes a fastball inside for a rare time tonight. DeGrom is behind in the count 2-0. Jonathan Scope on deck, then Steve Clevenger for the Orioles in the 7th. And Wieters takes a rip, 2-1. Reasonable pitch count for DeGrom at 85 pitches starting the 7th inning. Wieters gets under one, and out in that triangle shift, Kelly Johnson deep enough to make that an easy play. That is a foul ball caught by the second baseman.
Jammed him big time.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Jonathan Scope was at a really rough game in the field. He dropped a relay throw that might have cost the Orioles a run, and then he nonchalanted a ball and threw it away for an error. Meanwhile, at the plate, he struck out and popped up 0 for 2. And he grounds one down to third. Murphy's got it. 2 out.
Nice play, Murph. Not an easy hop right there for Daniel. Stayed in front. Well done. No chance to play a shorter back hop. Hit too hard. Well done.
Murph's been playing a different position every day. Played first base while Duda was out. Second base, of course. Third base. So he's been asked to do a lot of different things in the field. Here's Clevenger. Yesterday, Steve Clevenger, who was born and raised here in Baltimore, became the first Baltimore native ever to hit a home run in this ballpark for the Orioles. Goes after the curveball on 7-2. So Givens is coming on for the top of the 8th. DeGrom ahead 0-2 on Clevenger. And the bases one foul. Clevenger is grounded out twice today. He was picked up by the Orioles from the Cubs in 2013 in the deal that sent Jake Arrieta to Chicago. Turned out to be a great deal for the Cubs.
Curveball struck him out.
Oh boy.
DeGrom takes care of Clevenger for his 6th strikeout of the night.
After 7, 3-1 Mets.
He's found his rhythm.
Of home runs, Daniel Murphy a couple of doubles, and the Mets with a 3-1 lead as we go to the 8th. It's the best online source for Mets information with a constant flow of Mets news and opinion, featuring game breakdowns, special features, and player profiles. Mets blog presented by Citi, part of the SNY.TV blog network. Rookie right-hander Michael Givens takes over the pitching for the Orioles in the 8th.
The Tampa native was a second-round pick as a shortstop. Didn't make it as a hitter. Converted him to pitcher. He's a rookie. It's only his 6th appearance.
And he was only converted to pitching 2 years ago. So he is very new to this game, and he has gotten off to a great start in his big league career.
When they convert you to a pitcher because you can't hit, that means you got a great arm.
Darno 0 for 2 and a walk. And quickly 1-1 to Darno. Kelly Johnson on deck. Michael Cuddyer behind him. Mets 3 runs, 7 hits. The Orioles 1 run, 4 hits. And with DeGrom at 91 pitches through 7, he will undoubtedly get the 8th. We talked in the opening of the broadcast about the difficulties the Mets are having in their bullpen right now. The best answer for an ailing bullpen is starters who go deep into games. Darno pops it up. In comes Parr to call. 1 out. I mean, the last two guys in that bullpen, Clippard in the 8th, Familia in the 9th, they are not an issue at all. They've been wonderful. It's when you get beyond those guys and have to dip in, whether in the 6th or 7th or in extra innings, where the Mets have gotten in trouble. Here's Kelly Johnson, who's 0 for 3. T.J. McFarland worked an inning, allowed no runs, 1 hit. Now Givens pitching in the 8th. And Kelly takes a strike. Tuesday Night Baseball on SNY is brought to you by Verizon. Don't miss a moment of Mets baseball on the largest, most reliable 4G LTE network, only from Verizon. And then Johnson goes after the off-speed pitch. 1-2. Got him with a high fastball. 2 men down.
He's a slinger, almost sidearmer. Whips it there. Very much like Ewell Blackwell almost. Ralph Kiner always said was one of his toughest pitchers he ever faced.
Well, Givens is from Tampa, and the Mets had a pretty good pitcher from Tampa. Kid named Gooden.
Yes.
And the year before Gooden at Hillsborough High School in Tampa, there was a huge pitcher by the name of Vance Lovelace, who was supposed to be the next great thing. Never had a great career, but Vance is now scouting. In fact, is in the ballpark tonight. He is enormous. Just looking at him in person, he's got to be 6'8". That J.R. Richard build. But Joe McIlvain, who scouted Doc and is in the ballpark tonight, talked about going to Hillsborough High to see Vance Lovelace and being told that they had someone even better and could hardly believe it. Turned out they were right. Scope makes that play cleanly, throws out Kadire to end the inning. So Givens with a 1-2-3-8. DeGrom back to the mound with a 3-1 lead. Home 8th inning, J.J. Hardy leads off against Jacob deGrom. Hardy has one of the 4 hits for the Orioles tonight. He doubled to right field in the 5th inning. Tyler Clippard up in the Mets bullpen in case deGrom needs help in the 8th. Picks off the outside corner, and it's 1-1. Big news in Boston, where Dave Dombrowski has been hired as head of baseball operations. That is huge news. Wilmer Flores handles the ground ball and throws out Hardy one away. Chris Dombrowski recently left the Tigers and will have great resources in Boston to try and rebuild that team after a very disappointing year. One out and nobody on. Here's Urrutia, who has struck out and single to left, 1 for 2. Flared into shallow center, and Cespedes jogs in to get it. And quickly there are 2 out.
Another nice quick inning for DeGrom. If he can get this third out, he might go 9.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Mets have not had a complete game all season. Who would be a better candidate? First is going to get through Manny Machado. He's 0 for 2 in a walk. He walked leading off the first inning. That is the only walk DeGrom has given up tonight after walking 4 in his last start uncharacteristically. Machado takes a strike. Tomorrow night, second and final game of this series with Noah Syndergaard on the mound for the Mets. Coverage begins at 6 right here on SNY. Machado takes the curveball down, 1-1. They're in the 4th now in Denver. Nats 4, Rockies 4. Sails outside, 2-1. And the Nats just regained the lead with a run in the top of the 4th. That's going to end up 15-13 the way it's going. And now it's 3-1 to Machado. Dangerous spot here. Zach Britton, the Oriole closer, standing around. You got Parra on deck, who homered against DeGrom for the Orioles' only run. 3-1 to Machado with 2 out and nobody on. And he rips it. Murphy can't come up with it. Conforto cuts it off. Machado will stop at first base. Well, that was hit 1,000,000 miles an hour. Just ate up Daniel Murphy.
Nope, did not stay in front, did he not? Pulled an Olay.
They don't call it the hot corner for nothing. They'll give a base hit to Machado. And that'll bring the tying run to bat. It'll also bring Terry Collins out of the dugout. 100 pitches for DeGrom. Is Clippard coming in? We'll know in a moment.
I'm not so sure. Yes,
yep,
it is.
Terry's taking the ball, and Clippard's going to be brought in. All the Met fans at Camden Yards get to their feet. Another outstanding performance by Jacob DeGrom. DeGrom out after 7 2/3. Tyler Clippard will try and get the final out in the bottom of the 8th. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. After 7 2/3 tonight with just 1 run against him. Responsible for 1 as well, and Tyler Clippard will try and take care of that.
Well, Tyler's been fantastic for the Mets. This is his role here. Coming in here, he's not only a setup man, a bridge to Familia. He's also a guy that can come in the 8th inning with men on base to put the fire out.
Comes in to face Parra, who's 0 for 8 in his career against Clippard. I'm sure that influenced Terry's decision. And Parra fouls off the changeup, 0-1. Parra homered against DeGrom in the 6th inning for the only Orioles run tonight. For Clippard, this is his 11th appearance since joining the Mets. He's given up 1 run and 6 hits in 9 2/3 innings. Machado at first and 2 out. Got Parra's attention, 1-1. Clippard and Familia have held up their end, and they'll need to do it again tonight against a very tough part of the Baltimore order. Even if you get Parra out here, then you've got Jones and Davis to start the 9th. And that just missed. 2-1. We showed this in the open, and it's worth returning to since July 31st. Familia and Clippard have been just about perfect. The rest of the bullpen, not so much. Mets made a move today, put Bobby Parnell on the DL, called up Logan Verrett. But this game in the stages where it belongs to Clippard and Familia. 2-1 to Parra. There goes Machado. It's hit in the air to deep right field. But Granderson has room at the wall, and he makes the leaping grab to retire the side. Camden Yard just big enough for Granderson to go up against that painted Geico sign and make the grab to help out Clippard and end the inning. Parra thought maybe he got it over Granderson's head. Not so fortunate. On to the 9th, 3-1 New York. Clippard got one scary out in the 8th. Michael Conforto leads off the top of the 9th against Michael Givens and grounds one foul. Conforto 0 for 3 tonight, contributed with his arm, throwing out a runner at the plate. Boy, what a night for Granderson. 2 home runs, A leaping catch at the wall. They'll be up third in this inning against Givens with Wilmer Flores on deck. Fastball outside, 1-1. Conforto takes inside, 2-1. Givens working his second inning in relief, pitched a 1-2 3/8. Orioles bullpen with 2 scoreless innings tonight. Conforto fouls one off, and it's 2-2. Well, with Clippard getting that out against Parra, DeGrom's final line tonight: 7 2/3, 1 run, 5 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 1 home run, 100 pitches.
Where's that put his ERA, Gary?
Into elite territory,
yes,
my
does.
friend.
Yes, sir.
Goes below 2 to 1.98. Conforto lines one into center field, and the Mets have a leadoff base runner in the ninth. So Conforto chips in with his first hit of the game. The Mets' 8th hit of the night. Now Wilmer Flores comes up, and Juan Lagares will run for Conforto and then stay in the game to play center field. So Lagares, who has 7 stolen bases this year and gives the Mets better foot speed on the base paths. Would you bunt with Flores to try and get an insurance run?
Or hit and run. You know me, I'm always on the aggressive side here.
Well, lately, Terry's been doing virtually no bunting with his position players. Had Flores swinging away in a similar spot the other day. Granderson on deck. And Wilmer fouls back the fastball. Well, it looks awfully good in print, so let's show it to you.
Sure. How about that?
Second in the major leagues in earned run average at 1.98.
And usually 1.98 wins you an ERA title, and he's way behind Greinke. What an ERA Greinke's sporting.
By the way, you saw Sonny Gray third on that list, leading the American League. Gray pitched here yesterday and didn't fare nearly as well as DeGrom tonight. Lost a 4-2 game to the Orioles. Wilmer gets out of the way of that inside slider. 1-1. They've gone to the 5th at Coors Field. Nationals 5, Rockies 4. Another one. 2-1.
Hit and run count.
Now Flores taking a look down at Tim Teufel. Lagares looking across the diamond in the same direction.
Tough to put the hit and run on because you got a guy that's a little wild.
A rookie, you don't know much about him.
Can wait to 3-1 and send Lagares.
Buck Showalter thinking that way. The Orioles call for the throw to first. You ever see a pitch out on a 2-1?
Very, very, very seldom. I've seen more 2-0 pitch outs.
Really? Tom asked for it.
Received.
Late. Very late. But the home plate umpire Lance Barrett granting it and being emphatic about it.
Ted Simmons called a lot of pitch outs when I played in St. Louis. Ted wasn't the greatest thrower in the world, and he called an awful lot of pitch outs, if I recall.
Don't see many pitch outs anymore.
He could hit, though, Mr. Simmons.
There's a borderline strike. 2-2.
Did not think that was a strike.
Michael Givens, just his 6th big league appearance. Lagares at first, 2-2 to Flores, pulled down to third, might be a double play. Machado to Scope, drops the ball, and everybody's safe.
Jonathan Scope with his 3rd defensive miscue of the night. should have been a 5-4-3 double play. Instead, the Mets have first and second and nobody out.
Now, I will say this. He's a professional. Watch the throw. The underhand throw is a sinker that you're throwing to. Watch the ball sink because he throws underhand. You've got to make the play. You're a pro. But it's better to come over the top and give your guy a straight target.
Buck Showalter's going to make a pitching change. No fault of Michael Gibbons, but he's out of the game. Brad Brock will come in to replace him. Jonathan Scope's second error of the night. Also dropped a throw that might have cost the Orioles a run. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Empire City Casino. We'll be right back. The pride of Freehold, New Jersey. Brad Brock comes in. First and second, nobody out. Curtis Granderson at the plate. And he misses inside to Curtis, ball one.
Curtis with 2 home runs, 2 solo shots. Looking to have a really big day.
Well, the Mets have already gotten 1 gift run in this game. Trying to cash in some more after the second error of the night by Jonathan Scope. 3-1 top of the ninth. And Granderson takes a fastball off the plate, and it's 2-0. Daniel Murphy, a couple of doubles on deck. Boy, what a rough night for Scope. Missed a lot of time this year with a knee injury, and he has just had a dreadful night in the field. Well, the one on Kadyr's ball was just because he was nonchalanting at the other two. He just dropped it. The throw from left field that allowed the Mets to get their second run when Flores scored on Murphy's double, and Scope might have had an easy play at the plate. He dropped, and then he dropped the double play ball. 3-0 to Granderson, and Curtis takes ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So the Mets now with a golden chance to increase their lead. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Daniel Murphy coming up.
Let's see what the 3 fingers means. It means the infield's coming in.
Got to here.
Why do you have to have a number sign? Why don't you just motion them in with your hands? Jeez.
It's all about the subterfuge. Murphy 2 for 3 in his career against Brock, the former San Diego Padre. Infield most of the way in, and Murphy first pitch swinging fouls off the fastball. Murph twice has doubled down the left field line in this game. He's driven in a run, 2 for 4. Lagares the pinch runner at third. Flores at second, Granderson at first, and the Met fans at Camden Yards in full voice. and Murphy lifts one foul, and it's 0-2. When is Cespedes waiting on deck? Look at that, 391 with the bases loaded. Mets as a team this year are hitting 352 with the bases loaded.
It's always an advantage to the hitter. Pitcher's in trouble.
Brock ahead 0-2. And Murphy lays off. 1-2. Brad Brock, who came out of Freehold Township High School, went to Monmouth University in West Long Branch. 42nd round pick by the Padres, who's made good. He's had a terrific year. One-two coming. And Murphy lifts it to right. Lagares tagging. Parra's got a great arm. His throw is coming to the plate. Lagares scores, and over to third goes Flores. 4-1 New York. Sacrifice fly for Daniel Murphy, and the Mets tack on a run.
Beautiful base running by Flores. Murph goes down. Nicely done, Murph, on a good changeup. Not a good throw from Parra, but everybody tagging, routine fly ball. See what a throw is. Flores wisely advances to third. Another run now to pick up. Well done.
So the Mets take advantage of the scope error. See if they can take advantage a little more now with Cespedes, who's 0 for 3 and an intentional walk today. Flores at third, Granderson at first and one out. Infield back at double play depth. And Cespedes takes outside.
Well, that walk was just critical for the Mets. When Brock came in and walked the bases loaded, that set everything up.
That gets by. Wieters heading for the plate is Flores, and he scores to make it 5-1. A wild pitch brings in the second run of the inning.
Well, the bullpen letting the Orioles down, and the defense. Remember, we mentioned that only 46 errors committed by this Oriole club.
That was the fewest in the majors, but 2 tonight by Scope have cost them 3 runs so far.
Yep. And bullpen not getting it done, and the gloves.
Granderson at second and one out. 2-0 to Cespedes. And he pulls off that breaking ball. 2-1. Well, with the 4-run lead, it looks like Jerry's Familia is going to sit down. Perhaps Clippard will stay on and pitch the ninth, or perhaps they'll go to somebody else. I would think he'd start the inning with Clippard.
Anybody up?
Nope.
Then it's going to be Clippard.
Yep. Familia stopped throwing as soon as that 5th run scored. You can always get him back up if Clippard gets in trouble. So it looks like Tyler will stay on. He's got the sports glasses in position and ready to go. Two and two to Cespedes with Duda on deck. And a weak ground ball down to Davis. He'll take it himself for the second out as Granderson goes to third. Well, Jonathan Scope has had himself a miserable night in the field. It all started back in the 3rd inning when the Mets had a 1-0 lead.
Double in the corner. Overthrows the lead cutoff man. And he drops the ball. Had it play at Wilmer. And then here's the play that really just nonchalanted right there in the 6th. And then this one right here in this inning opened up the floodgates. Mets have blown the game open. That's a tough day at the yard.
And it hasn't helped that he's gone 0 for 3 at the plate as well. So just a miserable night for Scope. Granderson at 3rd and 2 out. Here's Duda, who's 1 for 4. And Wieters stops that one to prevent yet another run from scoring. Already a wild pitch has brought in a run here in the top of the 9th. Well, what these insurance runs mean for the Mets more than anything else is that Chris Davis can't beat the Mets, can't tie the game in the bottom of the ninth. He's due up second. It's a good changeup by Brock, and it's 1-1. I mean, right now, Davis is the guy you fear the most in that lineup. Didn't make contact against DeGrom, but he's always a time bomb waiting to go off. One and two to Duda. Meanwhile, the Nats just tacked on a run in the fifth. They lead the Rockies 6-4 going to the bottom of the fifth at Coors Field. 1-2 coming, and Duda fouls back the fastball. 95 from Brock. Coming up tonight after the postgame show, it's Geico Sports Night. All the baseball, Eli and his wallet, and Gino. Sometime, Gino.
Let's just say sometime.
Sometime. On the outside corner, Duda caught looking to end the inning, but the Mets get a gift and score a couple. RBI for Murphy. 5-1 Mets going to the bottom of the ninth. All right, gentlemen. Yoenis Cespedes moves from center field to left field. Juan Lagares, who pinch ran, stays in center. Tyler Clippard will try and finish this game now as Adam Jones leads off the last of the ninth. Clippard came in, got the final out in the eighth with the game at 3-1. So if he finishes it, it would be a save for Clippard. He's got to get through 3, 4, and 5 in the Orioles order. Jones, Davis, and Wieters. Jones is 0 for 3 tonight. Kelly Johnson made a nice play and threw him out his last time up. And it's hit in the air to left field. Should be easy for Cespedes. 1 out. The Mets are 2 outs away from beating the Orioles for the 9th straight time.
They've had their number. This would be Clippard's 19th save of the year. He had 17 with Oakland. And will be a second save for the Mets if he can close it out.
Every game crucial for the Orioles, who started the day with a half-game lead for the second wild card spot. Taken high by Davis, who struck out all 3 times up against Jacob deGrom tonight. Jeurys Familia is up in the bullpen again for the Mets just in case. A little surprised to see that after Clippard got the first out.
Just playing it safe, soft tossing.
Davis pops it foul and it's 1-1. Yankees beat Minnesota tonight 8-4. They were down 3-1 in the 7th in that game, but Alex Rodriguez hit a grand slam and turned the game around.
Well, Alex was in a bad slump.
25 home runs now for Rodriguez. The Blue Jays won as well, so the Yankees stay a game in front of Toronto. But that means if the Orioles lose, they'll fall 5 games behind the Yankees and 4 games behind the Blue Jays. The team directly behind Baltimore is the Angels, and they're playing in Oakland in the 2nd inning. They're a half game in front of Anaheim coming into the ninth. That's up and away to Davis, and now Clippard behind 3-1. Matt Wieters the on deck batter. There's a strike. 3-2. Jacob deGrom went 7 2/3, 1 run, 5 hits, a walk, 6 strikeouts. Lowered his season ERA to a scintillating 1.98. Just incredible. 3-2. And he missed with the changeup for ball 4. So Davis draws a 1-out walk.
A bit surprised at the changeup there with a 4-run lead.
Now it's Wieters, who's 1 for 3, singled back in the 2nd inning. And Mets put on the shift against Wieters. This would be a perfect spot, I would think. Down by 4 runs in the 9th. If you're being given a hit like this,
yes,
push that bunt, get on base.
I agree with you, Garrett. This one, I agree with you.
And he's going to try and do exactly that, but he didn't offer at it. Flores alone on the left side. They shift Murphy over to the right side against Wieters. Jonathan Scope, who would love to find some redemption in this game, is on deck. Wieters fouls it off, and it's 0-2. In a 6-4 game, in a 5-1 game, Jonathan Scope has directly handed the Mets 3 runs. That's a rough night. He might have a turn at bat in a moment, barring a double play. Oh, 2 to Wieters. Fly ball, shallow left, tough play. Cespedes coming on, and it falls in front of him. He trapped it. It's a base hit for Wieters. And now the Orioles have 2 men on with Scope coming up.
Just not quite enough.
Well, Terry Collins is on his way out. See, Davis played it smartly. It's now a save situation for Familia. And it looks like Terry's going to manage right to the save rule and bring Familia in to try and get the final 2 outs. 5-1 Mets in the 9th. Familia coming on. We'll be right back. Juan Lagares taking some of the burden off his veteran teammates as they wait for J. Reese Familia to get set. J. Reese coming in for the save. Every save this year means another opportunity to win prizes from Delta Airlines. Go to Mets.com/Delta Dugout to sign up now.
Well, Terry Collins was very prescient in not taking anything for granted. Getting Familia loose and ready. And he'll be coming in for, what, his 33rd save, Gary?
Last pitch Saturday night in a tie game. Pitched the 9th inning in that 14-inning loss. Jonathan Schoop gets a chance here with 2 on and 1 out. And Schoop takes a knee-high fastball for a strike. Schoop at the plate 0 for 3. And 3 miscues in the field that have cost his team 3 runs. Davis at second, Wieters at first, 1 out. The Orioles need 1 more base runner to get the tying run to bat. Steve Clevenger on deck. And quickly 0-2 on Schoop. Rockies just got a run back. It's now 6-5 Washington in the 5th.
It's nothing safe in that ballpark.
Nor in this one. Familia ahead 0-2 on Schoop. And he just got a piece of that sinker. Clippard faced 4 batters, had a rough 3rd out in the 9th. Got a leaping catch by Granderson to make sure Parra didn't have a hit. Got an out here in the 9th, then a walk to Chris Davis, and the bloop single by Wieters, leading to Familia. Trying to save it for Jacob deGrom. 0-2 coming.
Struck him out.
Boy, wicked. Went to the splitter that time.
Look at this bottom dropout. That is unfair.
You know, that's a really new weapon for him that he's used more and more lately as a 3rd pitch.
That's unfair.
His first 2 were already pretty good.
Jeez.
So the Orioles are down to their final out with Clevenger, who had a 3-run homer yesterday for the Orioles. He's 0 for 3 in this game. And he bounces one down toward the hole. Duda and Familia come together. Duda off the bag, and everybody's safe. Well, that had disaster written all over it from the get-go. Duda started for the ball, tried to retreat to the bag instead of letting Familia take it, and Duda was not on the bag, and the bases are loaded.
Duda's got to call off Familia as he's coming back to the bag. The throw is right there. Duda just misses the bag. Two big guys right there.
Did he kick it in time?
No.
I guess not.
Oh boy.
That'll be scored an infield hit for Clevenger, and thus the tying run comes to bat. A big mistake on the Mets infield. Gets Hardy to the plate as the tying run. Hardy has a double in 3 trips tonight. And the sinker misses low and in for ball 1. So 2 soft hits in this inning. The pop fly single by Wieters, and then the ground ball by Clevenger that led to that miscommunication and an infield hit. Hardy 7 home runs this year. And the slider in for a strike. 1-1.
No doubles. Very deep in the outfield.
One and one to Hardy. That's low. 2-1. Henry Urrutia, the number 9 hitter, would be next. Davis, Wieters, and Clevenger, the base runners, with 2 out. Two-1. Oh boy. Ball 3.
Well, he's got to pump a fastball in here, a little sinker. Tough to lift a sinker. Never easy.
Bases loaded, 2 out, 3-1 to J.J. Hardy. Fouled off, 3-2. So now the Orioles are down to their final strike.
And there will be a merry-go-round, Garrett.
A slow merry-go-round. Because the only one that matters is the one standing in the batter's box. And Darno wants a conversation. It's been a far more difficult ninth inning than Terry Collins and Dan Worth had banked on. And boy, those 2 insurance runs the Mets were handed in the top of the ninth look huge. Three and 2 to J.J. Hardy. Ball forward, it forces in a run. It's now 5-2, and the tying runs are on base.
Not even close.
So things get a little dicier for Familia. He'll face the number 9 hitter, Henry Urrutia, who's 1 for 3 today, has had just 15 big league at bats this season. Still searching for that 27th out. Urrutia singled to left in the 5th inning. On that base hit, Hardy tried to score from second, and Conforto threw him out at the plate. Now Wieters at third, Clevenger at second, and Hardy the tying run at first, 2 out. And Urrutia takes just off the plate. Darno held it an extra beat, but Lance Barrett said no.
Well, Urrutia is not a home run hitter. There's no home runs. It's hard. You just got to keep the rally going here. You just want to get a base hit. You're going up the middle.
Well, you got Manny Machado, a very dangerous hitter on deck. This is the guy Familia's got to get. And he's away. Ball 2. Whoa. Coming. Ball 3. Wow. All of a sudden, Familia has lost the plate.
Go find the Rolaids.
Well, Urrutia, he figures, going to be taking one here. A strike. 3-1. Wieters at third, Clevenger at second, Hardy the tying run at first. 2 out, last of the ninth. 5-2 New York. 3-1 coming to Urrutia. He walked in. Oh. Another run comes home, and now it's 5-3. Back-to-back bases loaded walks issued by Jeurys Familia to the number 8 and 9 hitters. And now with the tying run at second and the potential winning run at first, he's got to face Manny Machado.
Well.
Well, there's nobody behind Familia.
You're gonna win or lose this game, or go extra innings with them.
Yep. Well, Familia had a rough patch coming out of the All-Star break. The former Met Darren O'Day up in the Orioles bullpen. But Familia had righted the ship and was pitching extremely well the last few weeks, but he's run into a roadblock here. A 2-out infield hit kept the inning alive, and then 2 straight bases loaded walks, and now the Orioles with a chance. Ryan Flaherty will run for Urrutia, carrying the winning run at first base. Here's Machado, 1 for 3 and a walk.
Oh, wow.
He's overthrowing now.
Aim that one, Gary.
Machado, the 8th man up in the inning. And a hanging breaking ball fouled off. 1-1.
Oh boy, it was a hanger.
That could have been a game ender right there. If Machado keeps it going, Gerardo Parra would be next. Tying run at second, winning run at first. 1-1 to Machado. Popped it up. Will it come out of play? Darno for a look. It's in the seats. 1-2.
This is right down the middle. Oh boy.
So again, Familia is 1 strike away.
Make your pitch here. 1-2.
Clevenger at third. Hardy the tying run at second. Flaherty, the pinch runner, carries the winning run at first.
Make a pitch here.
Machado asks for time.
Oh, how huge are those 2 runs in the 9th for the Mets?
Right now, they're the difference. 1-2 to Machado. Check swing. Did he go? No. Tom Woodring, the young first base umpire, said Machado held back.
Didn't miss by much for being a strike, Gary. That didn't. Now you see Darno bring the glove in so that would miss, but that's a nasty pitch.
Now it's 2-2. Ground ball down to third. Murphy's going to go to first with it. And the ball game is over. A rocky 9th inning, but the Mets hang on, and they take the opener of the series from the Orioles. Another tremendous effort by Jacob deGrom. 2 home runs for Curtis Granderson. The Mets were gift-wrapped 3 runs, and they'll take it as Familia hangs on for the save, and the Mets win 5-3.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but it's a W in the book. It breaks the 3-game losing streak and gets this road trip off to a terrific start. Granderson, 2 home runs today, 2 solo shots. 21st and 22nd. deGrom, 12th win, Gare.
Mets have now won the last 7 games that Jacob deGrom has started. He is 12-6 with a 1.98 ERA after another tremendous outing today. Game summary brought to you by Verizon. For every